Now from the garden to something that we discussed in the programme last week when we spoke to Vera. Vera had a heartbreaking story to tell of her young daughter who's 6 years of age and has many epileptic fits, and she believes there's a form of medicinal cannabis that can help her, and she set out on this walk to Dublin from her native Cork, and she got a phone call from Minister Simon Harris. To discuss this and a very special event coming up, I'm joined by Simon Fergus. Good morning to you, Simon.
Hi Alan, how are you doing?
Now, Simon, I've got to ask you, I'm getting a little bit of echo. Have you got a radio close by to you at the moment?
No, I don't know.
Okay, right. Okay, look, we'll plough on. You have a campaign for medicinal cannabis, and the story I just mentioned to the listeners there, you're very familiar with it. Can you tell me more about this?
Medical cannabis postcard campaign in order to raise awareness for the demand for medical cannabis in Ireland at the moment. And I've had a few signing days in the Bullring, Wexford Town, and in Enniscorthy as well. Yeah. So I've been getting quite a good response on the street from a lot of people who support the cause.
Now, you had a motion brought forward about legalising medical cannabis. What happened with this motion? Where was it brought forward to?
It was in the Wexford County Council, and a counter motion was voted through instead that put the issue to the HSE. So it was kind of a half a step forward. At least it was raising awareness of the issue.
Look, you mentioned, you refer in the email you sent me to a Dr. Garrett McGovern. Who is he, and what's his position on cannabis?
Well, he would. He has been advocating for it to be. He would be advocating for it to be decriminalised in general. But he would also support the use of medical cannabis as well.
And Simon, is there any particular reason, apart from what we've heard from Vera last week on the show, is there any particular reason why you are so actively campaigning for this? Have you come across a need for this in your own personal life, or why have you taken up the mantle for this?
Well, I would be a carer for my mother, who would she'd suffer from quite a lot of back issues. She would have a degenerative disc disease. She'd have rheumatoid arthritis. She'd have sciatica, so she'd be in a state of chronic pain most of the time. She also had a failed spinal fusion surgery in the 90s, so she's left with limited mobility and chronic pain. So we actually went to a pain specialist last year, and he said there was nothing she could. They couldn't increase her morphine level anymore because she would just readjust to that, and she'd be left with the same level of pain. So it would benefit her greatly if she could have access to medical cannabis.
Right, and what sort of response are you getting? You talked about the council motion, but in general, I know you have a special event you want to mention, but in general, how is it being received? Because in Vera's case, time is of the essence here.
Yeah, I suppose in regard to Dravet syndrome and epilepsy, it would be a life-threatening condition. So, I mean, particularly in her daughter Ava's case, she would prefer if legislation was passed sooner rather than later. And we can see from other jurisdictions around the world, in Australia, Canada and the US, that when similar legislation has been passed, it has benefited greatly individuals who do have Dravet syndrome.
So as we stand at the moment, what is likely to happen next?
Well, I think the government accept that medical cannabis will eventually be available here, But I suppose that they would prefer to have all the necessary medical checks in place beforehand. But certainly in other countries where it has been legalised, these same studies that doctors here are now looking for have also not been conducted. But we can also see that it has benefited people greatly where it has been legalised. So yeah. I think it would be a safe move if we were to do it now, rather than waiting a few months.
You have a very special event coming up in Wexford very soon. You want to give some details on it? I would be. I have been speaking with my friends in Ori Natural, and they have said they would allow me to have a postcard signing day in there in the next few weeks. So I have yet to set a date, but I will definitely be keeping people updated about when it's taking place. And have you got a vigil coming up this Sunday?
I had a vigil last.
I beg your pardon.
Sunday. Yeah. I had a vigil last Sunday where we it was in support of those waiting for the bill to pass, and we said a quick prayer to Saint Anthony, and we held a minute's silence. So there's only about 11 people that showed up, but it was we thought it went very well, despite being rather cold last Sunday night.
Do keep us posted to developments on this. As I said, we are going to revisit Vera's story very soon to find out what has happened there, because she has her own Facebook campaign as well for her little daughter Ava, who is 6 years of age. Thank you for taking time to talk to us, Simon. Have you got a Facebook page that people can gravitate towards, or what's the story?
Yeah, there is a Medical Cannabis Facebook page. It's just facebook.com/medicalcannabis. Facebook.com Medical Cannabis PC postcard campaign. So
yeah. Good to talk to you, Simon. Simon Fergus there, outlining his views on the legalisation of medical cannabis. In just a few moments' time, we're going to turn our attention to another positive